r/AskReddit by Reddify. What fact which turned out to be false did you believe for a long time? Deleted. There is no 24-hour waiting period on a missing persons report. If someone is missing, even if it's for just an hour, you can most certainly file a report. Especially if it's a child or a special needs person. File that report as soon as possible. I've seen the police in my area bust out the helicopters and dogs to search for missing children. They absolutely do not fuck around with that. When I was a young kid, my mom told me she could tell I wasn't wearing underwear because my eyes were bluer. She probably just didn't want to tell me I had camel toe. I stopped wearing underwear for a few years BC. I thought I'd be prettier with bluer eyes. My mom told me my eyes turned purple when I lied. I believed her because she'd look me in the eyes and wait to see if I was lying. And she could always tell. Obviously she was relying on me being nervous about being caught. I finally told some lies to the mirror to see my eyes change color and caught on. Bitch. It does not work if you're doing it intentionally. Mom didn't claim that early enough. Scientific method won that day. This actually results from being deceitful, which isn't exactly the same thing as saying something that isn't true. The nervous tension alters blood flow that causes some people's eyes to change shade slightly, much like blushing in the cheeks. The effect is much more noticeable in people with lighter natural eye color, making blue eyes exhibit the most pronounced effect. How am I doing? Is it working? If I see this until tomorrow, you're fucking dead. That if you poured salt on a bird's tail feathers, they can't fly away and you can catch one. Turns out that was just how mom kept us busy when we annoyed her. Oh my. Is it bad? If my first thought was I wonder if my kids would fall for this, it worked on me. 5 siblings and all our children. But wouldn't your kids just waste a lot of salt THST way? Salt is cheap. Babysitters are expensive. We took all my brothers snipe hunting. Here snipe, here snipe. Fun birds. Until my mid-20s I thought Mick Jagger just had one name like Madonna. Mick Jagger. Prima donna was one of those terms I had only heard. And I thought it was prima donna. I wasn't alive in the 80s and wondered what exactly she did that there was pre and, I assumed, post Madonna. Till it's prima donna not prima donna. I'm pushing 40. If you're still unsure what it means, it's Italian for first lady, and I believe it comes from the northern Italian ballet/opera scene, where the prima donna was the leader head of the dancing/singing girls. They were often very full of themselves and vile towards the others in the production. You can see this depicted in Phantom of the Opera, where not even the producers can handle the prima donna. That chewing gum stays in your system for 7 years. I was a naive child. Oh man. When I was about 12 years old I bought like a half pound of shitty gumballs. You know, the kind that lose their flavor seconds after you start chewing them. Anyway, I was watching movies or something, and being the dumbest kid that I was, would just swallow the gum after it lost its flavor and pop another one in. I got through about half the bag like this before I started feeling sick. Went to take a shit later that night and it was 8 different colors. That's when I discovered this myth was false. I still swallow my gum. I just don't eat gumballs by the quarter pound anymore. Ed, so you know those everlasting gobstoppers from the original Willy Wonka? That's what it looked like. Only less spiky. How you were holding a quarter pound bag of pre-poop and you didn't even know it. Come to think of it, all food is pre-poop. I don't like this thought anymore. All food is pre-poop. r/show her thoughts. Just cut out the middleman and throw your sandwich in the toilet. That if giraffes fell, they would just die cause they would have no way to get back up. I'm truly ashamed I believed this for as long as I did, but it seemed to make sense to me. They got weird legs lol. Giraffes are so dumb. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. My most upvoted comment, wow. Say that to my face. If you can reach it. Bitch. 2-year-old account, and I was here to witness this. Beautiful. r/beetle-chewicking. I did it, mom. I finally witnessed a beetle-chewicking in real life. I used to start drinking more milk once I saw those white spots under my nails. Because I was told it was because of a calcium deficiency. Turns out they're called milk spots because that's just what they look like. I mean certain deficiencies can cause these, like zinc. But that's generally the extreme exception, rather than the common reasons, which we aren't sure what they are. Other than them not being harmful. A really quick look at Wikipedia also shows that they go away as the nail grows, and not from excessive milk drinking. I thought Timbuktu was an imaginary place. It isn't. Kalamazoo is also a real place. It's a town in Michigan. It's famously known for being mentioned in the phrase from Timbuktu to Kalamazoo. Halfway between Detroit and Chicago, so far more important when traveling was harder. Mama birds will reject their baby birds if humans touch them. Total BS. Birds' sense of smell is pretty weak, plus they won't reject their young. So put those baby birds back in the nest if you want. Or just leave them alone. They are probably out of the nest because the mother kicked it out, so it can learn to forage. Also, the mother is likely nearby, watching the bird learn to find food. Don't get involved in its development. One of the few times I found a baby robin out alone hopping around, it became very clear that mama, or maybe papa, I'm not an ornithologist, was in fact nearby, and not at all thrilled with my plan to invent. Maybe she thought you were robbing her baby? Boo-hoo. When I was younger there must have been some confusion between endangered and extinct, because when we went over the Wild West and talked about the endangered buffalo, well, I was sad that they were gone forever. For a couple of years I thought that all of the buffalo in movies were CGI or puppets. Imagine my excitement when I found out they were back in the wild. When I was a kid we were taught they were hunted to extinction and that there were no more buffalo anymore. It's kind of cool to find out that was wrong. To be fair, they were extirpated from almost their entire natural range, and by late 1880s only a few hundred remained. Many of those were rounded up for breeding programs, and there are still many more captive than point wild bison. So for a while they basically were extinct in the wild, in the breeding program, and by sharing range with domestic cattle other lines have been mixed in. Sadly, from a genetic standpoint, the bison running around even in the wild are not American buffalo, with only around 13,000 of them even having direct maternal lineage to the original stock. My year 7 English teacher told me off for using the word gotten, and said don't use that. It's an American invention, as if somehow that made it wrong anyway. Yet, I later discovered the word gotten was in the King James Bible, which, while modernized a couple of times, is a British book. Yeah, Mrs. Thorpe, you were wrong. I also had an English teacher who decided that American versions of some words were wrong. I'm Canadian. She ranted several times about the American spelling of check/check. For instance, if she saw a sign on a bank about opening up a checking account, she would rant and tell us she sent them a complaint because they should be spelling it like checking. Shold wrote checking account and gave her an aneurysm. Shold written. That won't give her an aneurysm. Rotten. That Marilyn Manson had a rib removed so he could blow himself. For some reason. Pre-internet, this rumor made it all the way to Kuwait, Australia checking in, Finland too, Britain too, France too. Until yesterday, I genuinely thought you could suck out snake venom when bitten. Until about 10 seconds ago, I genuinely thought you could suck out snake venom when bitten. You can't. I mean, if you think about it, it doesn't make sense at all. Wouldn't the venom go into your blood? So sucking it would just be you sucking blood. So you're saying just suck harder? Just take out your suck it and suck it. If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. One year when I was a kid I got strep throat 3 times in as many months. My mom told me I was getting sick because I was eating my budgers. I stopped eating my budgers and didn't get strep again for years. My husband informed me literally yesterday that eating budgers had no correlation to strep throat. I have yet to confront my dear mother to see if she genuinely believed what she said, or if she just said it to stop a gross little kid habit. Edit. Since I stopped eating budgers years and years ago, I have not resumed the habit, as it is now completely unappealing to me. Thanks for the articles saying I should resume, but I prefer to keep tissues around me and to wash my hands after blowing my nose these days. For the life of me, I can't understand why eating budgers is a thing. They taste gross. Edit. My second most upvoted comment ever is about eating budgers. Reddit. I both love and hate you. Someone told me that it's an evolutionary trait that builds the immune systems of children. But that's probably not true. No, I believe that's true. I've seen articles on it before. Germs and things get trapped/killed in the mucus and then are introduced to the body via mouth, giving your immune system an intro to harmful things in small doses that it can build immunity to, like mini oral vaccines. Edit. Wow. My highest rated comment is about the possible health benefits of eating snot. This is concerning. Thanks Reddit. Fun fact: human saliva contains a protein that speeds up healing of cuts and things. I mean, it's true. But the thing is, you get snot in your mouth. Whether you eat your budgies or not, your body doesn't care whether it gets there via your finger or your sinuses. That's also why it's ridiculous that people consider it gross. Mostly cause they don't want to see it. Kinda like when people finger their belly buttons or bite their nails. I'm ashamed, but I asked my mom if Transylvania was real, and she said don't be ridiculous. That's a fake place where monsters live. Me, being the innocent fool before person that I am, believed her until I was almost 19 years old. When I confronted her, she laughed her ass off. This is the same person who told me pine cones were called penny cones. I thought it was a place where trans people live. I'm a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. You see, that is why I asked lol. I love that movie. And I'd for some reason ask my mom instead. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.